Hello, everyone. It's been a while since I've been joined by Debra Wilder. Hi, Debra.
Hi.
Today we're going to talk about aphrodisiacs. Yes, this one was cooking for a while.
Yeah, fun topic.
Exactly. So first of all, for anybody who does not know Debra here, allow me to introduce you to her. Debra Wilder is a meditation teacher trainer and has been teaching Tantra for over 10 years. She focuses on practices for solo before moving on to partner practices. She previously worked as a certified dating coach in Silicon Valley. She currently lives in Florida, USA. Hi, Debra.
Hi.
So I'm going to read to you the structure that Debra and I were prepared for this discussion, and then we'll get into each and every topic because this is a juicy conversation. Okay. First of all, we have a fundamental disclaimer, and I'm actually going to read it to you verbatim because you need to hear this. This discussion is for pure information and opening up perspectives. Any changes to your diet should be done with the help of a medic or a nutrition technician. I stand by this entirely, so does Debra.
Yes.
Right? Okay, good. So first of all, we're going to look at the foundational concept here about aphrodisiacs. I'm not going to say what it is. You have to enter the video for that. Then we're going to talk about a list of aphrodisiacs, mainly what kind of foods it contains. We're going to look at that topic. Then we're going to look at stories and anecdotes. Both Debra and I have one to share. And lastly, we're going to look at how does one choose which aphrodisiacs to use. All right. So
yes, and I will cut in here and mention it's not just about aphrodisiacs being great for our sexual health. It's also about looking radiant and healthy, walking about and feeling great. Especially maybe people haven't been outside a lot recently. You're not feeling a lot of energy. What we're talking about today will help with that as well.
Definitely. This gets us right into the foundational concept, which is reproduction of the healthiest and sexual attraction of the healthiest. Essentially. Yes. So aphrodisiacs are, in both of our opinion, health foods. Okay, that's the main thing here that we need to look at. Nature doesn't have just survival of the fittest, but also reproduction of the healthiest. Pretty much. So when we're looking at aphrodisiacs, we're looking at health foods. We're looking at what can we bring through our nutrition that can help our personal and particular situation. That's why that disclaimer. Any changes to your diet should be made with the help of a medic or a nutrition technician.
Yes, and any herbs I say that I take, you should discuss with a trained professional. I'm not saying you should take them.
Yeah, based on your blood test or your overall analysis, whatever other studies you're doing on yourself for your health condition. So all of those need to be taken into consideration. I'm guessing.
Yes, and even though I love certain herbs or even certain high doses of vitamins, they're not great for 100% of people. They can be even herbs can contradict, so that's why it's good to have someone that is very trained and educated.
Yeah, definitely. So this one is important. Don't mess around with any synthetics or natural aphrodisiacs, though we're going to talk about the natural ones here. This also needs to be said. Yes, but before you play with any of these, check in with somebody, okay? Don't mess around with your health here, because you might
don't pick up the stuff at the gas station, perhaps. In the United States, we have things at the gas station by the register.
What stuff?
Sex boosters, art-on boosters. Yeah, I think there are a bunch of chemicals. Chemicals and vitamins. Yeah, there's like condoms and like sex boosters.
We just have the condoms, really. The sex boosters, you probably find them in the drugstore or the natural plant stores. Not sure what you call those, herb stores. Okay, but not in gas stations. Not even vitamins. You can get alcohol. You can get condoms. You can't get the after pill there. So, okay, yeah. Well, you know, when in Europe, do like the Europeans. When in the United States, do like the Americans. Okay, yeah, we gotta say that also, being from two different continents. Okay, now let's look at what a list of aphrodisiacs contains. Here are some general stuff that we both proposed. Main foods. We're talking about meats here. We're talking about some vegetables. So main foods. We're talking about fruits and desserts, basically, like chocolate. I think everybody that Googled for images of aphrodisiacs found chocolates. It's impossible. Yeah. Then we have nuts and seeds also. I didn't put it here in the list, but actually we have a lot of nuts and seeds. You're gonna find walnuts. Some of those lists also contain hemp seeds. Some people do contain, yeah, they put that. Then you have herbs and spices, much more rare, but you still have those. And something I put here on the list, and no list of aphrodisiacs is going to mention this one, but that is to their loss. Water. That is a huge aphrodisiac that goes under most of our radars. So hydration. So why don't we look at all of these? So main foods. What have you noticed, like when you checked an aphrodisiac list, when it comes to any of those, not necessarily main foods, fruits, herbs, spices, nuts and seeds? What was your impression when you were looking through those?
I think people have seen all of like oysters and food. That's the biggest food you really see as like an aphrodisiac. I can get more into like spices myself because I'm vegan. So, but there's other foods that can create more minerals. What have you seen?
I've seen that there were no deep fried foods there. Like the oysters were raw, basically. I have seen some baskets, you know, like really aesthetic pictures out there with, some of them were with cheese or ham, but I haven't seen those in many aphrodisiac lists. Those seem
no, because they're full of, they can be full of chemicals and nitrates, and those are the things we're trying to avoid.
Yeah, and lift cholesterol also, but I have seen them in some cases. That it also depends, I think, on the how do I say this? Not level of consciousness, because it might sound too judgmental. Just the place where people are. Usually, people associate tasty food with sexuality because they get pleasure out of it. And if some people have these nasty eating habits, like some people could probably have a double mac and cheese, and or actually, sorry, mac and cheese, like something from McDonald's. I don't know, double sized hamburger. And say that that is an aphrodisiac. Okay, so to each their own, basically. But what I've noticed is that they tend to be closer to raw foods, or very little processed foods. And I haven't seen any chips, any, I don't know, processed chocolates and all of that. I would rather see homemade chocolate or just cacao, stuff like that. That was my observation. But also no water. Nobody put water there. Dehydrated body, it's not gonna it's not gonna function sexually.
Yeah, so there are a lot of foods, and then they can be split between like men and women. Like pumpkin seeds are really great for men's sexual health, and eggplants, since they're shaped like a uterus, are supposed to be great for women. Of course, it's not an aphrodisiac, but it's really good for the whole uterus and our system. So it does help this blood flow and that sort of thing. But the main ones like that I personally go after are going to be, dark chocolate type things. Yeah, some people would love to go out to a steak dinner. I would rather have my veggies and beans and then eat something like a raw chocolate tart, with nuts and dark chocolate and rich yet light. Something that really boosts the blood flow. It goes into spices, but anything with like chili, cayenne, that really boosts your, it gets you alive. Cinnamon, and others, but chopped up chili pepper in a dish.
Speaking of which, have you seen the movie Chocolat with Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
Okay.
The old movie, yes.
Yeah, I is it that old? It's just 21 years ago. Really not that old. Anyway, I forgot what the name of the character that Juliette Binoche was playing. So that was the woman partner in this movie. And she was cooking and baking chocolates. And she kept coming up with all these chocolates for the character for Johnny Depp. She kept saying, "This is your favorite." And he would taste them and say, "That's very good, but not my favorite though." And eventually when she had given up because she realized she did not know how to read him, unlike other people, when she was serving just hot chocolate, guess what he said? I never thought you'd guess my favorite, hot chocolate with paprika. I don't think they had it there, but anyway, with hot spices, essentially. Hot chocolate, yes, with spices, hot chocolate and hot spices, amazing.
That is one of my specialties. I make something that a friend makes at his coffee shop. It's called a Tantric Mayan, and it's basically hot chocolate. Of course, they put coffee in it. I don't always put coffee, but normally. You don't want coffee late at night, of course, but it's hot chocolate with a hint of cayenne, cinnamon, vanilla, and then sweetened.
So not made hot, but sweet.
The beverage is warm hot.
And
it's just enough cayenne to just get the feeling.
Okay, so yeah, cayenne is hot. Okay, I go with hot pepper.
Cayenne, yes, spicy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay,
and
so
it's definitely a tantric drink.
I'm gonna listen to this interview after we finish it, and I'm gonna write down the recipe if you allow me to put it also under the video. Let's look at the next topic. What did we have here?
I will add, it's not aphrodisiac wise, but of course not overeating, because all this Indian food is great because they incorporate a lot of aphrodisiac qualities. But if you eat double the amount, then you're just going to feel lethargic or rejastic.
Yeah, I think this one goes for everything physical that we do. You don't eat right before you do a workout or a yoga practice or anything. So it goes also for sex. And you don't like eat a lot because your digestion is just going to make you sleepy.
Yeah, and eventually foods with cholesterol start clogging the arteries, and not just in the heart, but the entire body. That's one of the problems with men developing ED, erection problems, is they're not getting enough blood flow there. So that affects our entire body.
Okay.
So better would be, eating fruits and healthy desserts, getting pleasure from those.
Okay. And oysters for the guys that want meats. Okay. So we had some anecdotes because this is the next topic on our list. And we both had, so each one of us had a story. And I actually have one to share. If you guys want to skip this one, fine. But Several years back, I was in fact, I was in a pause, so I wasn't meeting anybody. And I just went for my regular checkups, sexual reproduction system checkups. And I discovered I had this bacteria, nothing serious, like my gynecologist said, okay, it's all good. We will just take the classical treatment and it will get better. And the classical treatment included antibiotics, synthetic antibiotics. And I said, no way, this is just a stupid bacteria. I really don't need to go with antibiotics again. I'm not bleeding, I'm not wounded. My life is never going to be in jeopardy. So I went to a few acquaintances and I got this protocol based on plants and herbs and natural antibiotics, so not synthetic ones. The only thing was that I had to keep that treatment as opposed to the synthetic one, which was going to take 10 days. This one was about 30 days. And I was warned, you got to be patient, but this one, it doesn't happen overnight. It also included vaginal douches, which are not, is that douche from douchebag or you also?
Douchebag, I think, comes from that. It's a water bag.
Okay. All right. So just internal washing of my vagina also. And I did all of that with natural alternatives. On the minus side, I went crazy with that. Like 20 days in, I was just like, I couldn't take it anymore. The person that helped me with the protocol was there for moral support, thank God. And by the end of it, I waited another month and I went for another checkup, as was told. Once you finish your treatment, you wait a month and then you get your checkup again to see if the bacteria is gone. I went for the checkup, full like ultrasound tests and all of that. The tests came back clean. The ultrasound showed that I had also healed. So aside from removing that small stupid bacteria, I had also healed my polycystic ovaries, which I had been diagnosed with since I had been 13. And at the time of doing this treatment, I was 35. So the month before taking that treatment, like always, at the end of my ultrasound, I kept hearing, and you have cysts on your ovaries. I said, yeah, sure, I know. 2 months afterwards, so 1 month of drinking tea, taking internal showers, and taking all those antibiotics and natural supplements, all from the natural store, no more cysts. And when I heard that, I was like, are you sure? My reaction to the gynecologist, no cysts? She said, no, ma'am, you have no cysts. There's nothing there. I can't tell you that you do. Okay. I called the person that recommended the protocol and I said, yo, this is amazing. Not only did I remove that stupid little thing, but actually cured something that I was told it can't be cured a long time ago. So I called to say a huge thank you to that woman. Yeah. That's what plants basically do. In this case, it was herbs and antibiotics from garlic, from cinnamon, from nutmeg, and some mushrooms like reishi and yeah. So I was taking all sorts of supplements that were just for my health.
I love mushrooms for health, for immune, for aphrodisiacs. Like I take lion's mane every day for my brain, and it just boosts my overall energy. Anything that boosts your overall energy is going to help with, sexual energy as well. I take the reishi sometimes, cordyceps sometimes. Cordyceps are those, typically you would see them growing out of ants in pictures. They have a lot of benefits, but I get the ones just grown in like a factory on like vegan sources, but you'll have to cordyceps with a C.
Okay.
I don't have any in front of me right now, but all kinds of mushrooms. I take workshops on medicinal mushrooms and hunting and growing, and they have endless benefits.
Okay. All right.
I have a story too. Well, it's not my story, but it's a friend's story. This is a real person and not me. Around herbs. So I have these two friends, and they had been married for many years, and they were, wanting to have children eventually, and they weren't taking any kind of precautions. And then they started like, okay, now we're getting older, we should, have children. So, but they were like super stressing their body, owning a business, working like 120 hours each. And overworking is especially not good for the female body trying to get pregnant, or working, say like working night shift jobs as well, makes it harder. Well, one day they accidentally poured way too much maca in the smoothie. They had this maca and they're like, hey, let's put some maca in our smoothie. And I put way too much. They hadn't had sex in a while. They had sex that night and they got pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And it was totally like they were planning on getting in vitro, like, getting pregnant in a lab. Like their bodies were just super over stressed. But all they can think is like, it was the maca, Peruvian ginseng. Is what it's also is. This ginseng somehow seems to have rejuvenated them and also got a ton of energy in their body. And then they, after years, they got pregnant.
Okay. So the magic of plants, herbs, and in this case, maca, it's root. So nice story, guys. Everybody can find maca. I think Europe and United States and Canada and South America probably. Yeah, great. Looking at the last topic that we have on our list, how does one choose which aphrodisiacs to use? And I wrote here, basically, so I wrote, like we said in the beginning, this is not the place where you listen to something and you decide to try it. You take into consideration your overall health, and this is what the first condition that I put here was health conditions. Then food allergies, and I'm guessing also diet, because I think if somebody's on a meat diet or an omnivore diet, probably they're going to need different things from somebody who's on a vegan diet. Blood tests. You got to know how you're going, how you're doing. And fertility tests, probably. And then protocols recommended by a naturopath according to your specific objectives.
Yeah. And I think all these are great. Just because I go get a blood test from a doctor doesn't mean I have to do what he tells me. I will maybe listen to it, but for people that are hesitant about going and getting blood tests and fertility tests and all of those, it's for your own knowledge. It definitely helps because I've seen a lot of, say, energy work, energy medicine doctors. I like that stuff as well. And many times they have been correct in diagnosing. Like I had the first time I found out that I had like a problem with my ovary cysts, I found out from an energy medicine person. And then I actually went, this is when I was living in the Philippines, and then I went to a hospital there to have a scan done. And yes, they were correct. I had a lot of ovary cysts, but I wasn't actually even having symptoms of any ovary problems when the energy medicine doctor said it out of the blue. But it was good to have a scan to back up. It's good to know blood tests and health conditions, just to have an idea of what herbs that we want to take. Yeah.
For instance, when I did the natural protocol, I based it on a very fundamented diagnosis. So when I got all the test results, I actually went to the naturopath and I said, this is the result. It's not in my head.
Yeah.
Not that I read on Google. It's that this is what came up at a routine check. So, and basically I also had a face. I still have like little pimples on my face, and this is rosacea, like a really beginning stage. But for many years, it was misdiagnosed by some dermatologists, and I decided to go to somebody else. I got a different diagnosis. And then all the natural stuff that I was doing, which was not working, I went to somebody, and based on a different diagnosis, I got a different treatment.
Yes.
And in 2 months, not 10 days, 2 months, it got way better. So it is important sometimes to get a really precise diagnosis. I've never had an energy healer giving me diagnosis about my illnesses. Maybe I just didn't meet the right people.
It's hard meeting the right one because a lot aren't properly trained, or it's something you have to be natural about. And they should be following all this as well, because if they're eating a terrible fast food diet, which some do secretly, then they're not going to be able to be in tune with your energy to read it.
Mm.
So, and that is important for us too. It's another reason is when you're with your sexual partner, being able to, you know, be more connected to them energetically. For people that believe that, like me, the cleaner your energy, your body is, the more connected you can be with your partner, and just feeling healthier. You're going to be in the mood more and be happier and feel good. But for single people, all of this is important because you want to look radiant. Unfortunately, you know, appearance is ingrained from our ancestors. We, not just commercials, shiny hair and glowing skin. But by eating the right foods and drinking enough water, we will look hydrated, and all of this will help.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, this is all that we had for today. We wanted to keep it short and sweet and encourage people to check out either the recipe for the Mayan Tantric hot chocolate.
Did you have any other foods that are your favorites, or spices, herbs, anything?
Well, I do have yarrow tea. This is something I'm not sure if everywhere on the planet you find it. I do find it in my country. I actually go and pluck it, or forage it, sorry. And this one was to help me with my, when I had polycystic ovaries, sometimes my menstruation would go a bit off, I don't know, track. And this plant would help me a lot. And then I drink a lot of teas nowadays. For instance, I have here some Buddha box. I got Monday's my birthday, and I got this present. So I drink a lot of teas. I try to also drink some exotic, not just local plants, because I want to vary the taste. All of them had cinnamon or matcha, also matcha tea. And what I also really like is to make my own chocolate, homemade chocolate. I've noticed when I buy from the store, even if it's from the natural store, I think it has, probably it has sugar in it or some type of sweetener. And I keep wanting to eat more and more. When I make my own chocolate at home, I don't put sugar, I don't put salt in it. I just put other ingredients. And I can tell from the first teaspoon that I won't eat much of it because it's really satiating. So that's what I prefer a lot. I also have maca. I have, I'm not sure how to pronounce this one. Please forgive me. In Romanian, we say baobab. Baobab? I'm not sure what. It's a herb that I found in my natural store. It has a lot of iron in it. Because I didn't eat meat. I started eating because my hair was shedding a lot. So, but before that, I got this baobab. I'm not sure what is pronounced in English. I'm going to link it under this video. This one is a recent discovery. And then I also have vegan protein powder. I've had this for a long time. Now, I started eating meat once a week. liver for iron, but I still get my vegan protein powder. So, and beetroot, definitely.
Beetroot.
Yes, also for iron. I have a hair thing. Yeah, it's my hair is falling a lot more than I wanted to, so I go for iron from all sources.
Yes, I do too. Having celiacs. For people that have celiacs or other immune disorders, we do have to think a little more about aphrodisiacs and vitamins to be healthy enough.
Mm-hmm.
I love for tea, red raspberry, hibiscus, also ginger in tea, a lot of ginger in food. That's great aphrodisiac. I eat a lot of healthier Indian foods and Jamaican foods, which are all spicy and a lot of different herbs in there. Papaya. I make smoothies with all of these kind of herbs and stuff in there, and also like a vegan protein that has things for skin and hair, like vegan collagen. For me, it's easy to do a smoothie and put all of this stuff in there rather than taking a bunch of capsules. And also, I'm the same with dark chocolate. 100% pure is my favorite. I haven't perfected any kind of recipe like you of making homemade. Enough for me to eat, but maybe not other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, just chocolate from the store tastes good, but it's like you have to eat, half a bar to feel as good as the pure. Just a little bite.
What I want to say is that my chocolate, though it has like peanut butter in it and coconut butter and some cinnamon, usually that's what I put in it. It's still not, so other people don't. Most of us are used to what we find in stores and different taste with the sugar in it. So mine is also not edible for many people either. So, but I don't mind. Really, I just take it for myself and that's it.
I did want to add, because I think this is an important topic, but I've had a lot of clients and friends males take herbs, especially when they're getting older, is saw palmetto. I'm not sure what that's called everywhere, but saw palmetto. It's actually grows here in Florida. It's from a small palm plant. It's a very common herb. I'm not male, so of course I haven't taken it for that reason. But I've heard endless stories of how it helps people. You have something like horny goatweed, which helps be hornier, but saw palmetto helps a huge amount with male hormones and blood flow. And thus far, I haven't heard anyone that it hasn't worked for. But of course, getting hormones and blood checked before would be good as well. But there are things out there, and people can always send me an email as well at soloyogacoach@gmail.com.
We'll put it in the video description.
Yeah, but be cautious, like when you're reading websites, because websites are out there, many of them, because people want to sell things. So
yeah, which is not necessarily bad. The idea is to get checked by your physician, because this stuff can help you, but you need to know your protocols, or you need to be informed about your situation as best as possible. All right. Debra, this was a very tasty conversation. Guess what I'm doing right now? Making hot chocolate.
Oh, okay.
After the discussion. Yeah. So guys, I'm going to leave Debra's contact details under the video. You can check out her YouTube channel. You can check out more stuff on this channel. This is our 4th discussion. You can check out the previous 3. I'm going to put a link to them under. And Debra will be seeing you soon, because we have at least 2 more discussions lined up. So yeah. Okay.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And everybody, have a beautiful evening.